Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Coach Rob's with me today, but we got something else that's even more important than Coach Rob. Stay tuned. All right, Coach Rob is here with me today. And Coach, you remember the song Changes?
I do.
Oh yeah. Who sings that song?
I'm guessing David Bowie.
David Bowie.
I could be wrong. Someone will let us know, I'm sure. But
one of the old greats. Well, we're talking about changes because the new Blade has made some big, significant changes here. Now, let me start with saying that these changes are only in the 98, 1619, and the 1820, okay? The 104, the 100, the 100 light, the 100 ultralight have no changes like this. So the flagship racket of the Blade is the 1619 and the 1820. So the guys at Wilson have developed a new mold, a new blade. Now, we all see the colors, right? We all see the colors. I call this St. Patrick's Day green. I feel like they should have released this on March 15th or somewhere in the middle of March instead because of the green. We love the gloss. Gloss gives you more feel. But what changes did they really make? Coach, is it the 98 head? No. Is it the 10.8 ounce racket? No. Is it the 7 points headlight? No. Did it get longer? No, but we wish half an inch would be great. Is it the 1619?
Why would we want it?
I don't know. Give somebody an option. 1619? No. So the changes are things you actually cannot see. It's unless you really have a sharp eye. Now, I have the version 8 here. You can tell the difference in the greens.
I think that's a 9.
Sorry, the 9. Thank you, Coach. So here's the version 9. Here's the version 10.
Find an 8.
I'm a generation behind, Coach. So 9 and 10. Okay. Now, in the specs that you see that's on the placards, there is zero difference. Zero. Except we got Tsitsipas here and we got Sabalenka there. I guess Tsitsipas has taken a back seat to the champion Sabalenka. Now, when you look here though, you see the first change. If you can even eyeball it. We're talking about the version 9 being a 20.6 inch beam from top to about the 4 o'clock area. So consistently, so the beam is 20.6 constant beam. In the new version, I'll put it side by side, version 10, it's a 21.5 all the way around the hoop. And at the throat area, it tapers down into a 20.5. So what does that mean, Coach, when you make it thicker by a millimeter at, the hoop area?
I'm going to go with they're trying to make it a little more stable. Maybe give you a little more power.
Yes, that's what happens. We've seen that in other brands when they, give and take, a millimeter, half a millimeter, 3/4 or 1/4 of a millimeter. When they thicken up the beam here, it stabilizes the racket. It gives a little more punch. It essentially extends the sweet spot out a little bit more too. Now, they have also increased their quality control. So they've narrowed down what each of these can be at production. so that when you pick up, one racket to another, you're not complaining about their quality control. Like some of the words we used to use with these rackets are, whoa, that's clubby, or whoa, that's like a feather, or oh, that's head lighter, that's head heavier, oh, I don't like that one, and then when you throw it on the scale, it's like, oh, you're off by a few grams, and then you go like this, and one's like this, and the other one's like this, and then when you swing weight it, some are faster and some are, slower. So they've narrowed down to make it a little more consistent. But the story behind the 98, 16, 19, and the 18, 20 is that we are going to get more stability, power, and extended sweet spot. So basically what they're trying to do is get the person who was playing with these into the modern game a little bit more. Because if you see people like Alcaraz, they're playing with a thicker beam, right? Like, and a lot of college players are playing with I call it the easier 98s, which, when you play with a blade, you're working a little harder to compete with those type of rackets. By them thickening this up a bit, they've stabilized it. They're making the transition from defense to offense faster and letting you be a little more aggressive with the shots and, being a little more penetrating with the aggressive shots. Like kind of like first strike tennis, your first strike's got to be a little more through, right? And then when you're defending, you want a little bit more oomph, So if you're thinking about a player like Sinner, something like this would enhance his game because he's always, it looks like he's off balance, but he'll get to it and he'll figure something out to get it past you, So, what do you think of the racket? This is kind of like your first caveat at looking at it.
Very green.
Yes.
So like you said, St. Patrick's Day, here we go. I'm sure they have a reasoning behind that. I'm sure it had to have passed a lot of people's eye test.
Some of the people live in Boston.
It could be a very Boston Celtic.
Notre Dame, anybody?
Yeah. So all of those things sound great. Look forward to hitting with it. We got one strung up, so we'll have to go knock it around and see how it play tests.
Yeah. So the ideal, Wilson says the ideal string and tension for this is ALU at 52. Well, we're going to just keep it confidential at 52. I guess hitting is believing, right? Let's see how much more power this wields. Stay tuned.
Switch sides here.
Is this on?
Harry, what are we doing here?
Oh, hey, bud. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I'm just setting up my swing vision over here so that during our hitting session, we can, see how bad I'm doing today.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
But you won't be doing bad, Harry.
No.
You'll be moving your feet, watching the ball.
This is why I love you, buddy. All right. Pablo has historically been a blade guy. He's had a love-hate relationship with the blade. He's played with blade pros in the past. He just got off the court hitting with Coach Alicia with the new V10 1619. What did you think of that, Coach?
Best blade yet, and it's the most stable blade I've played with yet. So this, with the added thickness around, almost it feels like the whole beam.
The hoop.
But definitely, you know, the most stable right out of the gate. So without any weight on it, it just offers you all around stability. With that, you get a lot more pocketing, and it feels like you hold the ball for just a lot longer through the shot. It also feels like when you extend all the way out, you're going to have cover on your ball because of that added thickness to the hoop. And so to me, the most stable, the most comfort as well. It felt very soft. And just because it just felt like the whole hoop was carrying the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it definitely has the same amount of feel that the traditional blade has. Didn't feel like there's any loss in feel. It just definitely had a lot more forgiveness and plow just through your shot, and stability. So I think they did a really good job with this model. It's it felt more like a pro.
Right.
It felt just more like the Blade Pro, whereas before the Pro felt very different than the stock blade. This feels like more like the Pro in that way.
Got it. Would you add lead to this? Or it's fine?
Honestly, I think it was fine as it is.
Yeah, I thought the same.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. I thought like this, you know, this works the way it is, which is very rare. I usually think, oh, the blade needs a little of this or a little of that.
Yeah.
And this to me felt the first time I ever hit a blade, and I thought, wow, I think I could just play with this the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. It took 10 generations.
10 generations. You know, and I was coming from when I was playing, I was coming from the Pro Staff 95.
Right.
But I really loved how much more just kind of flexibility this racket had than the Pro Staff. The Pro Staff, right, is such a precise racket.
Right.
That when I switched over to this, you know, it just gave me a little more spin. It was a little more flexible all around the court, but it still had the feel.
Right.
But the only thing that was always missing was just like weight. It just needed like that Pro Staff had that weight to it that was really, that was nice that you could count on. And the different versions of the blade, some of them felt flimsy in areas, some of them needed to be beefed up in areas. This just has an all around weight to it that's very nice in the hand.
All right. Great. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate you.
All right.
Tag, partner!
Oh, gosh!
Oh, Coach Goo just did a tweener on the Fast Track Tennis. You can get your tweener on the Fast Track Tennis too. 365 days a year. Discount code is below. Get your Fast Track on today.
All right. Just got off the court. Coach Rob with the Blade 98. What'd you think, Coach?
Felt good.
Yeah.
I think the better players will notice the subtle differences in it. Probably going to be able to be a little better out of the corners, have a little more stability on those balls that are, getting those first serves coming back at, where you're getting a first serve and you're having to defend with a return.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be stable in there. You're going to be stable out of the corners with it. Felt good.
Okay. Yeah, no. What you say is that the defensive shot can easily be a little bit more offensive with this racket. I was a little overhitting with this racket because I was just a little excited. I knew that there was going to be a little more power in it, and I was like, I like power. I like stiffer rackets. I like thicker beams. So it was a little more power than I anticipated that it had. But maybe I was just a little more warmed up, a little bit more excited. But there's definitely noticeable power in this racket. Definitely more stability. The flex is not like what you would normally expect from a blade. It takes it and then just sends it. It takes it and it sends it, but with a stiffer blade feel. It's like what kind of Coach Pablo says. It's like a Blade Pro kind of a feel. Like you're not holding just a blade. It's like a blade, like a premium blade is the only way I can describe it. The response is immediate and quick. Your offensive shots become a little bit more offensive. Your defensive shots become a little bit more offensive. So the extra millimeter definitely is noticeable in this thing. For the modern game with the college kids and the pro level players, they're definitely going to love this, especially against the big hitters, and just gives you that just a little bit more to kind of push it through. So guys, great update. Version 10, blade 16 by 19. Coach, you can hold that green now.
I got it. Let's go hit some more.
Let's go. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.